guys, check this out. This is the Lamborghini Huracan STO, which stands for Super Trofeo Omologato, which basically means homologation road legal racing car. It definitely looks like a racing car. Look at all the spoilers and wings and special cuttings in the body. Even these little side bits here, little vertical fins, a roof scoop for the engine, and then a huge rear wing. Lamborghini has gone for the top-mounted wing as well. This seems to be the new, well, it's not a fashion, it's actually better because the most important side of a wing is the underside. So you want to have a clear surface under there. You don't want big brackets, big braces underneath the bottom there. You want them on the top. I love the aggressive detail in the rear end and the way that it's just got holes in the back. They go straight through the tyre, then straight through the engine, huge venting along the back, and then a very chunky diffuser underneath. Completely flat underbody, of course, perfect for racing. Lots of carbon fibre in this one, as you'd probably imagine. Around 75% of the body is carbon fibre, but the platform is made from aluminium and carbon fibre. It's about 40 kilograms or 43 kilograms lighter than the previous Performante, and it stands at about 1,340 kilograms, which is quite light for a modern car. Huge carbon ceramic brakes as standard. These are inspired by brakes on a Formula One car. And then big bonnet vents. These are actually extraction vents. So the air comes flying in through the front end and then gets released through these holes, exactly like a racing car, helping to push the car down onto the ground, acting like a giant wing. And then inside, it's actually not as crazy as you might think. I mean, it's definitely a Lamborghini with the design and the way that all these shards of dash come out at you. But these sports seats on this particular test car are pretty conventional. They've got nice big side bolsters and the cushioning is pretty soft. I reckon I could drive this thing from Sydney to Melbourne without being too uncomfortable. Although if you're pretty tall or perhaps overweight, you might get a bit cramped after a while. Full carbon fibre door cards there with just a strap to unlock the door. And then over the back is just a roll cage setup with very limited view and no rear window. Well, there is a window there, but it doesn't provide much view. That's because it's got a racing style engine cover. Getting in is a bit of a job because it is very, very low, as you'd expect for a supercar. But once you're in, it's actually not too bad. I've got plenty of headroom, although, as I said, if you're pretty tall, you might start to touch the ceiling there. But it feels pretty natural. It feels good. It doesn't feel like a fully stripped out racing car. You got to love this safety latch for the start button. Very limited storage. There's just a little tray there with no center console box. But you do have a fairly comprehensive touchscreen system once it loads up. Various apps to play around with, including telemetry, so you can see the performance of the car. You've also got vehicle settings where you can change various aspects. And I like the way that there is a home main menu button, so you can just jump to the radio, jump to media. And then up along the top here, you've got a selection of toggle switches, including a nose raise function. So this basically lifts the nose of the car up a little bit so you can get over speed bumps and driveway entrances. This car does come with stop start, which is a bit ambitious for a racing car, I think. And also you can turn the stability and traction control off just there. Power window switches are on either side. And then there's a fully digital instrument cluster, which, to be honest, is a little bit overwhelming to start with. You've got your main gauges or temperature and everything on the sides there, and then obviously your main information in the middle, but you can change these little side sections to display different things. All right, we'll go for a quick drive and I'll try and show you what it's like, although it's a bit hard when you're on the public roads, but then we'll get stuck into the performance testing. You've got 3 different driving modes available through this little toggle switch down the bottom here, including STO, which is the default mode meant for the road, and you've got Trofeo, which is for the racing track, and then a wet driving mode or low grip surfaces mode. in the default STO mode, if you just start the car and drive off, it will stay in automatic mode. So it changes gear by itself, and it changes up through the gears pretty quickly, as you'd expect to try and save fuel. And then you just hit this little M button down here to switch it into manual mode, then you have to use the paddle shifters. Although I found that in STO mode, it will still upshift, it won't actually hit the red line. The paddle shifters are mounted to the steering column and not the steering wheel, directly from racing. So when you turn the wheel, the paddle shifters are always in the same spot, and they're quite long as well. So even if you are turning a little bit, you can still reach the bottom of the paddle. Crazy speed, so 470 kilowatts, 565 newton meters of torque. There's no shortage of power. So we'll test out the Trofeo mode. The car is very flat, obviously, around the corners. There's no body roll whatsoever. The ride is definitely firmer in the Trofeo mode. I'm noticing, yeah, you can probably hear it in my voice. When you hit the bumps, it really sends it through your body, which is what you want for the racing track, but probably too firm for the public roads, especially ordinary roads like this one. I just want to see if it will actually redline in the Trofeo mode. Yep. So in STO mode, it won't redline, it'll upshift for you. That's the road going mode, whereas the Trofeo mode, it's all up to you. Trofeo mode is a bit too serious for the public roads. STO mode, yeah, straight away it's a bit calmer in the ride quality. It's not so unforgiving. You probably can tell by the camera bouncing around on my head when I'm in Trofeo mode. Yeah, so along here it's quite bumpy. It's not totally bone jarring. I suppose if you haven't driven a supercar before, the car is a little bit intimidating to drive just because it is so low and loud. But after you drive it for even just a little bit, it's not too bad. It's actually pretty conventional. It feels pretty normal. You've got good visibility out the front. You can see over the between the side mirror there. Just the rear visibility is very poor. In terms of fuel consumption, I've only been driving this for a day, and it's saying my average is 15.6, which I guess is not too bad considering this is a racing car for the road. You've got the indicator button down here like on a motorbike, so you flick it side to side and then push it in the middle to cancel it out. Alright, let's go and do the performance testing now. I'm very interested to see what it will do, although keeping in mind it is rear wheel drive, so it is going to be hard to get the power down on an unprepped surface.